Jam. Toon Jam.
Hello, boys and ghouls, and welcome to Toon Jam. I'm Matt.
And I'm J-Man.
Ooh. And you are joining us in our Too Spooky season.
Oh yes.
That's right. We have watched two spooky shows,
Yeah.
and including today's, we have two spooky shows left. So today is something of a perhaps an offbeat choice. Maybe you wouldn't have expected, but it's Betty Boop, Snow White.
Yeah.
You're probably thinking, what on earth are these guys on about? Too spooky. Well, if you joined us on our Patreon adventures, you will know that we watched another similar episode of Betty Boop, Minnie the Moocher, and it shivered our timbers.
Timbers thoroughly shivered.
We were terrified of it, so we thought let's chuck one in for the Halloween season. Because there's something strangely bizarre about these old cartoons that has a bit of a haunting feel to it. So let me tell you a bit about it before we start. Okay, so Snow White, also known as Betty Boop in Snow White, is a film in the Betty Boop series from Max Fleischer and Max Fleischer's Fleischer Studios. I don't know why I added "and," but there you go. Directed in 1933. Dave Fleischer was credited as director, although virtually all the animation was done by Roland Crandall. Crandall received the opportunity to make Snow White on his own as a reward for his several years of devotion to the Fleischer studio, and the resulting film is considered both his masterwork and an important milestone of the golden age of American animation. Snow White took Crandall 6 months to complete. Some fun facts here, courtesy of Wikipedia. Coco's dancing, which is a highlight of the episode.
Yeah.
So Coco, if you don't know, is a clown, one of the characters in the Betty Boop series, but he turns into a ghost for this spooky episode. But it includes some moves that look like the much later moonwalk and dab during St.
I
James.
definitely clocked the moonwalk there. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, when you think about it, he does dab as well. It's the number itself is rotoscoped from footage of Calloway. So rotoscope, again, if you don't know, that's when animators used to sort of draw over live action film. So it kind of makes it look really spooky.
Eerie. Yeah.
Because it's too real, and it's like uncanny valley territory.
Yeah. So fluid.
Yeah, and this was the problem we had last time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was in the last one. So it's the same again. It was Cab Calloway. He featured in the last one, and they did the same thing with him, and he was a walrus in the last one.
Yeah.
Which was really just upsetting to look at, watching him dance. In this, he is a ghost, which I don't think is quite as upsetting, but still quite upsetting. The walrus to me is still the spookiest.
Yeah.
But don't be off your guard. This is still a bit upsetting in ways. The film was deemed culturally significant by the United States Library of Congress and selected for preservation in the National Film Registry in 1994. The same year, it was voted number 19 of the 50 greatest cartoons of all time by members of the animation field. The film is now in the public domain. So, free to all. You can find it easily, I might add, on YouTube. Just search Betty Boop Snow White, and either you'll find the episode or just the musical number, which really is the highlight of the episode anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, check it out. You can watch along and listen to us talk about it. I will give you 7 minutes to go and do that now.
We'll wait.
And you're back. Good 7 minutes. Well played, guys. The runtime is 7 minutes. which is why I said that. Ha ha ha! How we laughed. Okay, well let's move on to let's go on to. There's no Rotten Tomatoes, unfortunately, so I
No.
can't tell you that it's
Ah,
100%.
this would definitely be 100% as well.
Yeah.
19 in like the Film Hall of Fame or whatever. Like,
Yeah, it's got. I
gotta be
mean,
100%.
easy 100%. The IMDb rating, though,
Hmm.
can you take a guess at what that is?
I'm gonna go pretty high. I'm gonna go 8.5 IMDb.
8.5. Okay, well, you would be wrong by quite a bit, actually. IMDb terms, it's 7.3.
Oh,
Yeah, so a mixed bag, clearly. I imagine it's a mixture of very high ratings and then just a few very low ratings.
yeah, people, yeah, some young crowd that have gone in to see like 4K, like OLED, like quality stuff, and have been like, "What is this? It's not even got colours on it."
Exactly. Yeah. Ugh.
What?
Ugh. It's so weird.
It's
What are they
old.
doing?
What is a boot?
Why does she say that?
Why did nobody fight all the way through it?
Nobody exploded.
1 star, no explosions. Kids
So
these
yeah,
days.
I mean, the premise of the story is the most basic version of Snow White. Like, it's you can barely really call it Snow White, can you?
Yeah, yeah. It's basically a stepmother apparently checking out the mirror. The mirror asking who's the fairest of them all, and it tells it it's her until Betty Boop arrives on the scene.
And then the mirror gets off with her.
Yeah.
And says, "Yeah, it's you." Yeah, essentially, it all happens just so fast. And I imagine a lot of it is to squeeze in the Cab Calloway.
Oh yeah.
Music. I mean, I imagine it's just they did so well with Minnie the Moocher that they were just like, we need to do this again.
Yeah.
And it's quite surreal, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The story itself, obviously loose, but the way they go about things. So they, instead of it's not a huntsman, it's 2 knights, and this is Coco the clown and Bimbo the dog. And they, instead of, because obviously they're not going to kill her, they dig a hole and jump in it themselves.
Yeah, which I thought was a weird tactic. But
yeah, I didn't. I was hoping you might have seen something in that I didn't get.
No, I don't really know what that was. Like, I thought they were like trying to bin off the execution equipment, because they did start like I think they were sort of posing as knights, were they, at the start?
Yeah.
Because so they started, sharpening the axe and whatever, and like getting the log ready to put her head over or something. But then I think they were just chucking the stuff down the hole, and then it didn't go to plan entirely, because they're trying to push that tree root down, weren't they?
Oh yeah, of course, because they had a little fight with the tree. I mean, that's the cool thing. I think when you watch, the 30s, 40s cartoons of that era, because animation is still so fresh. And we've talked about this before, but it's the way everything is animated.
Yeah.
Everything's a character. So a tree stump is a character. An icicle has a face for no real reason.
No.
And look, it's a cartoon, so everything can talk.
Yeah.
But there's something charming about that, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely something we've definitely lost along the way. But it really makes the whole world seem alive, doesn't it? Like, because it literally is that everything's looking at you, singing along with the songs, and dancing. And something I noticed in this was that even before the music, like just the way that everything seems like it's dancing all the way through, like, which is it just has this really cool effect of just making it feel more lively. Everything's kind of grooving just to people walking down the street. And you're like,
and it's that in Roger Rabbit where he'd go to where that brief bit where you saw Toontown. Like it's just fully cartoons, and everything was just dancing. Like hey, and it's kind of like I don't know, watching that now, if you've not seen old cartoons, which I imagine is still quite a hard thing to go through your childhood without seeing. But it's just not the same anymore, is it?
No.
Because animation changes and the way we view it changes, and it becomes normal, I suppose. But I mean, it has its advantages either way. Like, because you get used to that kind of stuff, you can do more with your story. And I mean, like, compare the story in this to something of a similar length that you'd watch now.
Yeah.
Probably way more goes on now.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of like because their story is pretty much fueled by the animation, as opposed to dialogue and actual. It's like a dream, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's very dreamlike. It's pretty much like a music video, isn't it? Like, it's just like they've tacked on a story to the start. If you think of Michael Jackson's Thriller, for example, you've got about 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes either side of just like story where they go to the cinema or whatever, and then you've got the music in the middle, and then there's stuff before. It's like that, but in animation, essentially. Like,
yeah. Well, I remember at uni, sort of, you used to have all sorts of modules. It was I did film and TV, and one of them was music videos, sort of thing. We had like some guest lecturer come in, and I remember him saying, like, what was the first ever music video? And he was saying, it's A Hard Day's Night by the Beatles.
Right.
Which at the time I'd not seen any of these. I didn't know. It was just like, oh wow, oh yeah, I suppose it is. But then having watched these, it's like, no, you're dead wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what, like 30 years before that.
Yeah, easily.
So as far to my knowledge, as it stands, I would say, I think this was the second one. So Minnie the Moocher was before. That's got to be the first ever music video.
Yeah, you think so? It's much closer than the Beatles.
Yeah. Change my mind.
That's it.
I'm that meme of that guy.
Yeah.
Minnie the Moocher, first ever music video, changed my mind.
And what a music video it was as well.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've never seen a better one. It's like, well, it's one of the most chilling music videos going on.
Take that, Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah. It's up there with that window licker music video.
Oh yeah. Some Aphex Twins got a lot of pretty disturbing ones.
Yeah, they're upsetting.
Yeah,
maybe them first.
Rubber Johnny, if you want to ruin the rest of your life, check that out, guys.
They really are horrendous, aren't they?
Yeah. I'd also argue there's some good Tool videos out there. Check out Parabola by Tool if you want to again ruin some, your innocence for the rest of your existence.
So go watch them, throw up, come back, listen to the rest of this.
Yeah, we'll give you time. Go ahead.
Yeah, you got 7 minutes.
And you're back.
Yeah, cool.
So now that you're a completely different person.
Now that you're an adult. Oh man, yeah, grim.
Bad times. But yeah, it's definitely got a musicality to it, even when the music's not playing. Like, that's what's really cool about it. You've got all this movement, and like the way the characters move, they're almost dancing just when they're doing their normal stuff, and it really does have like a there's something else to it that we just don't get in cartoons.
Yeah, and I think this must be sort of, I think probably like the prime of Betty Boop, where it's still at its absolute weirdest.
Yeah.
But the animation is like at its best almost. Like the designs of the art are so much cleaner than the previous one. And that ghost, like the ghost, is such a weird design, but such a good design as well. Like those, like its legs that go up to its neck.
Yeah.
and it's so weird and creepy, but also these are like the cartoons that almost give you the idea of an old-fashioned cartoon, aren't they?
Yeah.
These are those black and white, sort of the Cuphead.
Yeah, the inkblot stuff is this is it.
This is where it is, and it's it's a really good example of that, I think. Like, it's got so much going on, different character types. Like, you've got the dwarfs, you've got a clown, you've got a dog, you've got Betty Boop herself, and the witch, and like then all the little things like the mirror and the icicles, and just things like when the knights. So the knights are characters anyway, but they put their helmets on, and their helmets become their faces.
So
the helmet starts crying.
It's just, it feels like everything's been thought through to sort of the nth degree. Like, it's like, right, this now we've got to design this character, and it's like whatever inanimate object you put in the scene is like, well, this is character now, so we've got to think it through. Like, how would they interact with the world? Like, and I guess you can do that when you run a 7-minute time frame. Like, you know, it feels, it's kind of nice that it's compact in that way, really. Like, I feel like it'd be too overwhelming if you had to sit and watch it for a while. But it just feels really well done. But speaking of sitting and watching it for a while, I did find that there was kind of going back to the musicality a bit as well, that on YouTube there's also like people who've made like really long compilations of, like, I think there was like a minimal techno version of it for like an hour and a half, where there was like just loads of Fleischer cartoons kind of back to back, and they'd kind of timed the movements and stuff with a beat of like the techno that's on. So it just seems like a really long Betty Boop episode. And I was like, oh man, this is actually pretty hypnotic. I could definitely sit and
like, I think it has that feel anyway, doesn't it? Like, you watch through it and it doesn't, like, it is a coherent story, but it's also so loose with, you know, its connections and stuff, and like, anything could happen and you just follow it, and you if the story resolves in like the last 2 seconds, literally. So she becomes a dragon, like about within 30 seconds to go, maybe. Start chasing it, and then just as they come out of the cave, I can't remember, do they use the mirror, or essentially pull a skeleton out, don't they? And
I think he just yanks it. He pulls her tongue, and then it like pulls her inside out.
And then that's it. That's the end. So quick, but like at the same time, you're not like, hey, you're just happy with that. Whatever. That the whole thing is a bit like that anyway.
That's it. That you can get away with it with the surreal stuff, because I think what's really good is it just continually subverts your expectations. Like they've got the cartoon rules there that they can play with. So it's like, well, we don't need to do this necessarily. Like, you're like, well, I guess they'll go fight something, but no, they don't need to. You know, they can just put a magic mirror over something and it turns it into a skeleton, or, you know, you can just tear someone inside out from a quick pull. It's not even aggressive. It's like
no.
The same way you'd open a drawer at home. Casually. Whoop.
And it sounds more grotesque than when you see it. It's like one of those things that you like watching it. You're like, that's actually horrendous, but it isn't. Like, I'm not like, as if I was watching it as a kid, I would not even think that twice.
No.
But you're like, oh, that's what a weird. Like, what? I
think that's what kind of makes it so spooky in a way, in that it's all kind of light-hearted, but like the sort of eeriness of it, like the stuff, I guess, like the sort of the rotoscoping and stuff, like that's kind of what makes it weird, because it, you know, a kid probably could sit and watch it and just be like, yeah, this is cool, like it's fun, it was just silly. But there's the thing that makes it kind of spooky is all the stuff underneath it, really. Like, as you know, as the story goes, as the look of it goes, there's never like, there's not blood everywhere. It's not like adult animation, you know. No one's swearing their head off, and it's not like super gory with people's innards all over the place, and, you know, Betty Boop's not like revealing herself to all the characters. it's not like that at all. Like, it is pretty kid friendly, like, but there's, you know, on top of that, there's the oddness to it of, there are skeletons and ghosts and ghoulies and things do happen.
It's one of those things that just being in black and white as well kind of adds to it. I think if it was in colour, it probably wouldn't freak you out as much, but it's in black and white, so it's got that kind of, those connotations of what spooky is. And I think we do, like, you know, just making, when they colorise black and white photos, and in your head it's kind of like, it's weird that looks completely different. And like, you don't. There's something missing in there when something's in black and white.
Oh yeah.
You can't. It's almost alien. Like, there's a time, and even though you know it in your head, it's almost like the whole world was black and white.
Yeah.
And it makes it spookier, I think.
Oh yeah.
But to go off sort of that, like, we've not really touched on the fact that it's obviously it is a Fleischer cartoon, and that's something I think Fleischer cartoons are sadly forgotten in a strange way. Obviously, we still have Popeye and stuff, but that connection is lost. Like, you just know, like, people know Betty Boop, they know Popeye, but like, it's weird to think that these guys, if they'd have carried on, could have been as big as Disney.
Yeah.
If not, I mean, they could have been bigger. We just don't know. It's a what if situation, I suppose.
Yeah. Which is owned by Disney now, so far.
Yeah. Too much, too spooky. But yeah, it's like, it's crazy to think that, you know, this at the time was, you know, that this was the contender.
Yeah. I mean, a worthy one as well, definitely.
Yeah. They were offering something like different, and it is different. Like, it's not. There's definitely, even though there's an almost like touch of, it's kind of like the, you know, the 90s Nickelodeon of the time, you know, where it's got like the slightest adult themes to it in a way that those are the ones that the Disney ones wouldn't have had. Just Betty Boop as a character, do you know what I mean? Like, this scantily clad woman, and it's strange to think that she was originally a dog. As well, but she was like something of a sex symbol at the time, and just the fact, I suppose it's hard to say because we weren't around at the time, but you know, things like the fact that one of their characters is a clown is somewhat more strange. Like, it's almost spooky in itself. A lot of people are afraid of clowns, aren't they? So
I'm a big fan of Coco now. I'm all about Coco.
It's cool, and I think the black and white helps him out almost as well. It's
it really sort of just adds to the contrast of his style and his look.
Do you think these characters will? Do you think people will remember them forever?
I think
some time, like, and I mean, it's already arguable that they don't, but Betty Boop people still know about.
There's something there, isn't there? That's, like we say, it's sort of missing almost from cartoons nowadays. So I think people are always going to go back and be like, but remember when they were like this, or like this is the type of cartoon. Like, I asked someone the other day, I was like, do you know any surreal animation or weird cartoons or whatever? And they literally sent me a link to the dance on this, the music video for this, because it's like, it just sticks in your brain. There's something about it that's sticky, and once you see it, you can't unsee it.
It is weird, isn't it? Do you think they'll ever, like, this is not a should they reboot it, but do you think they ever will bring any of it back in any way?
I do wonder. I mean, it's definitely popular, isn't it? Like the inkblot style, and stuff like Cuphead. It does have a big crowd of people that want to see that kind of stuff. So I mean, in the age that we're in now, where pretty much everything's getting rebooted, I wouldn't be surprised if it popped its head up somewhere down the line. Someone remaking this and trying to sort of do it justice in the way of trying to recreate what they did back then, sort of thing.
Because I don't know if the character Betty Boop or the other characters are in the public domain or not. But that'd be interesting. It means that anyone could pick it up, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I am surprised that. I suppose it's just difficult to do that now, because it's strange characters and it's such a weird. But then, isn't that what like Adventure Time is?
Yeah.
Characters thrown in together. It will be interesting to see if they redid it.
Oh yeah, I'd definitely be all about like trying to check that out, because it really feels like a different experience watching one of these cartoons. Like, it seems silly almost saying it. Like, it's like, man, it's whole other taste, whole other flavor on your palate, man. But it really, like, just the way that everything comes alive, and the look of it, the feel of it, like it does. You're only in there for a few minutes, but it does feel like something that you haven't really had a lot of before.
Yeah.
If you haven't. So yeah, if they did a modern version, I definitely want to see sort of what they did, and hope that they stuck to a lot of those features that made it sort of so iconic.
Yeah, and keep the sort of like, I want to say surrealness.
Oh yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I feel like that's lost because some of it. I guess there was a point where that kind of thinking, the sort of surrealist kind of stuff, got associated with like heavy drug use, and therefore it became less suitable for children for some reason. And so like now I think it is coming back in a way. Like there's some things that are kind of leaning into it, but I don't think it's ever really been seen in the Betty Boop degree in anything that recently.
Probably because it made children cry.
Maybe
when they saw walruses dancing like that.
I mean, it nearly made us cry. So.
All right. Well, we've had a good discussion there about it. Let's hit the review board and see what we have to finally think. Yeah, hey man. So last night, right? I was drinking some. I gotta be honest. I was drinking some cola, pretty caffeinated stuff.
Oh, dude, you were wasted, man.
I was pretty wasted. I was pretty wasted. But I started watching this old cartoon, man. It's called Betty Boop.
No way, dude. No way, because I had like 20 lemonades the other night.
Oh man. How much sugar did you? I want what you're on, man. You're crazy.
I had those, man. I started watching this cartoon with this crazy clown guy, man. He was wild.
Yeah. You know what? I think it was the same one. Hey, did he turn into like a ghost?
Yeah. Oh man.
Hey man, I don't know what his legs were like from here to like nowhere, man.
I was like, what's going on with this dude's legs, man? They were all over the place.
Hey man, I want what he's on.
I was totally like,
you know what I'm saying?
Some of what that guy is having.
Yeah, I want what he's on. Whatever he's on, that's what I want.
That's what I want to be on. It's like this dude who made this, man. That guy must have been on so much stuff, like he must have been on like bath salts in an astronaut outfit, just like on a roller coaster, dude.
Hey man, these were made when like your grandma was born or whatever, man. So like, they used to like put it in their chewing gum, man.
Yeah, man. It was like motor oil or something. Dude.
Yeah,
straight up.
Get like baseball cards with it, man. I want what they're on. You know what I'm saying?
It's like totally like, yeah, we haven't even invented color yet, dude. But this is wasted, man. Bro. You know what I'm saying?
You're amazing, man. Oh man. And then that lady, she's like talking to herself in the mirror, man. That's what I want. You know what I'm saying? I want what she's on.
Give me a little slice of what she's having, man.
Yeah, but I'm sober now, man.
Oh yeah, dude. No, I respect that.
Yeah. Okay, so here at Toon Jam, we have a 3-point rating system that goes as follows. Thumbs up, you're a ghost, but you can still dance, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, baby. Thumbs down, you're staring hard at a dancing walrus.
Oh, no.
And shaky middle, 1930s plot lines.
Yeah,
I suppose could be questionable at best, but so good, bad, in the middle. Not really sure about that one. So Betty Boop in Snow White. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't even really get an intro on this. It just goes straight in. You're straight in with the characters moving about, doing their thing. You've got a very loose Snow White story, which was like, it's kind of got what it was saying. I'm glad there was some clownage in there. But yeah, I mean, it's got the that kind of the like I've been saying, and like the rhythm to the characters and stuff. I feel like that sucks you in a way. Like part of you is dancing a little bit from the get go, and it just stays constant all the way through. There's you're invested in what's going on, and the fact that the level of how surreal it is, like things happening that you just would never have anticipated. Just makes it really fun and really unexpected. Like every few seconds it's like, oh, that's weird, oh, that was strange, oh, where's this going? And then you've got the full-on music video bit in the middle, so you've got the sound's really cool, the music's really fun, and then you've got this eerie animation that's going along with it at the same time, which also has some cool moments, and a lot of the cool stuff is during the music. It was just it's like a mini experience, really, more than it is a cartoon. It's like I feel like I went somewhere. I need to come back and tell I went on the Betty Boop experience. It was it's really fun, and it's something that I definitely want to watch more of. So for that reason, I can't help but give it a very spooky thumbs up.
But that's pretty cool, because the fact that you'd watch more, and for saying it's so old,
yeah,
that's like pretty big.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we've seen similar entry before over on a Patreon, which they're all available if you want to join the Patreon gang. You can go back and visit that when we did our Through the Ages, but we sort of it's got a similar vibe, but it was quite different.
Yeah.
In the way that I felt like this was. It wasn't. To be fair, it wasn't quite as scary, and it was a bit more. I want to say a bit more fun. Than the other one, but I don't think I'm not knocking the other one, because I thought the other one was superb.
Yes.
I think just probably because it was a bit more harrowing with the walrus, to be honest. That's why I'm remembering it like that. But this one has a I mean, I guess it relies on the fact that everyone knows the storyline anyway. So it isn't very coherent, the storyline, but because you already know the Snow White storyline, it doesn't really matter. You kind of just gather like, yeah, this is this bit, whatever. It's just more of a display of animation.
That's it.
But yeah, it's fun, it's clean animation and art style, which is clearly, I do think this is probably the peak of like Betty Boop sort of content to style. This is where it hits its stride in a way. But it's like you say, it's an experience. It's so strange, and it's such all these weird characters thrown in, and you end up watching it. And obviously, this is for people that knew it really, because you know all these characters already, but we don't really. But it doesn't make you think like, well, I don't get that. It just makes you think, how strange that they're all together. I kind of want to find out more. About them. And yeah, it was just really fascinating and eerie, strange, and even just like seeing Cab Calloway, that's like, I mean, he's I guess he's a legend in music really, but I'd say there's a lot of people that don't really know who he is now, and it kind of shows off his stuff as well, and you just think like, oh, this guy's just as crazy as this cartoon. He fits perfectly.
That's it. Like that legwork is some eerie stuff.
And it's just like, and like unlike the last one where you actually got to see him dancing, so it kind of explained it. This one, it just has him dancing. And I feel like it's worth watching both of them, just so you can see him actually dancing, and then you can see that like, oh, it actually is. I mean, we've told you it is him, but to know it is him makes it so much better, because it's such a like cartoonish dance as well, isn't it? But I really enjoyed watching it, and I always do like watching the old ones, just because they're so different to they are now, and there's a charm to them, and like you say, the style now I guess is quite popular again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a thumbs up as well.
Solid thumbs up.
So this is pretty incredible at the moment. We've gone down, middle, up.
Oh, really?
Both of us on each episode. So
What's
next week, I mean, what can it be?
Ascension.
Yeah. So next week's episode is David the Gnome.
Oh,
Spooky David the Gnome. It isn't. I don't want to get your hopes up because it isn't that.
It isn't.
And I'm really regretting that we actually didn't try and find a Spooky David the Gnome episode.
Yeah. That's bad. That's our bad, really.
Yeah. Maybe we'll find a Christmas one that we can watch because I actually can't think of anything better. The trouble is, once we do another David the Gnome, that's when we finally make the leap to David the Gnome Jam.
Yeah, that's.
So
you'll know shortly afterwards once the logo changes and everything that we've watched another David Gnome.
Because that's it. Then we've got to sit through everything.
Yeah.
Pure David the Gnome.
It's going to happen.
So how's that for a Halloween nightmare for you?
Oh yeah. I want to quickly note as well, like something I found that was cool on Twitter was that there's a Canadian tattoo artist called Phil Burge who created, he's done 76 different tattoos, I think it was, and recreated the dance of Coco the Clown.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So everyone's essentially got a frame on their tattoo, but he's put them together to recreate the dance. So that's worth checking out if you're online. He's on Instagram as well, cool. Phil Burge, I think it is.
Yeah.
ERGE. But yeah, it's fun to see. So yeah, still inspiring people down the line, then. So.
There you go. Well, I guess that's all we've got time for. So thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I would heartily recommend that you go over to YouTube or whatever video service. I don't know if there's any others that would provide it. But whatever you prefer, you find it. Find Snow White, Betty Boop, and Minnie the Moocher as well.
Yes.
And it will really make your Halloween too spooky.
Oh, yes.
Oh, boy. But yes, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you would like to hear many of our previous episodes, you can do so over on YouTube. Just search for Toon Jam Pod, which also brings us to the 3 horrible, wicked stepmothers of the internet: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find us there at Toon Jam Pod. And we also, as I previously mentioned, have a Patreon with all sorts of different bonus episodes on there. So we've done Betty Boop before. We've gone through time. We're currently watching the baby versions of cartoons, which is fun to say the least. But you know, it is a laugh anyway, at least. So yeah, check that out if you're interested. We also have a shop, a merchandise store, which is bit.ly/Toon Jam Shop, and that has all sorts of silly t-shirts and tote bags and all sorts of merchandise on there. So check it out if you're interested. But otherwise, as always, you stay jammy.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/toonjampod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you, and stay jammy.